Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is a summary of some 40 years in prophecy. If you don't care what I think, then of course you're not going to find this one interesting. But if you do think that I have something to share, then I think you'll find this fascinating. So I had one of our congregation members, a longtime friend, invite me to breakfast Saturday morning. And I told him, I said, I guess I've just vomited all over you because he just was a good listener and I just talked and I just shared what is on my heart about what I think is coming. And I said, this would have been a really good radio program. He said, yeah. So I'm going to try to do that today. I'm going to try to share with you what I think is coming. I think it's going to be really important. I think it's going to be a very, very important, a very powerful program. Okay, so before we get into it, if you'll go to prophecyclubcrypto.com, then I can't give financial advice. First of all, I'm not a numbers guy. You wouldn't want to listen to my financial advice anyway. But this is what I told my friend Saturday morning. I said, I'm thinking about. Matter of fact, I would even say my mind's sort of even made up. I'm going to get some crypto. Now, I don't have very much money, but brother sent us some silver here a couple of years ago. And I'm thinking about taking some of that and putting that into crypto. As a matter of fact, I got a phone call into Jonathan Rose asking him to call me because I want to do it with them. I trust them. Now, he is recommending either Bitcoin or Ethereum. But the prophecy that we got from You Be Ready specifically mentioned XRP or some kind of a coin that had an X as part of its logo, which, by the way, I did check back with him and I said, is this what you saw in your vision? He said, yes. And it was like an X like with XRP or with Ripple. Personally, I think I'm probably going to go with XRP because I seem to remember some article back there that's saying that XRP, for whatever reason I can't remember, had the best platform to go with a global digital currency. So I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. I'm not giving you any financial advice. Again, I'm not a numbers guy, okay? But I think I'm probably going to get some crypto. And what I'm going to do is the same thing I'm suggesting you do is what I did the other day. I actually went to prophecyclubcrypto.com. I put in my name, and when I clicked to talk to an expert, as soon as I heard Stan Johnson, oh, you're famous. I said, well, I don't know about that. But anyway, they handed me over to Jonathan Rose, and he's going to call me back. And so probably today, I'm going to see about getting some crypto, and I'm going to see about if I can turn in some of my silver for some crypto. So in case you think you've got some extra silver or gold or some extra, especially cash, consider it. Again, I can't give you any financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking about doing. Okay, so, I forgot to tell you. So Saturday morning, what I said to my friend was, he says, it sounds like you're saying that crypto is kind of a fill in the blank between the dollar where we are and the new digital currency that is coming on. I said, again, I don't know that. I said, but I think so. And you remember the prophecy that You Be Ready said? He said that no one's ready. And that may be because we haven't made any plans in the new digital type currency. So I'm thinking, since we know we're going digital from a lot of prophecies, okay, going ahead and getting into the digital world seems like not a bad thing to do. It seemed what I told him, and I said, yeah, I think that it may be something to take out the bumps between the dollar and the new digital dollar. And so that little area in the middle there, this may come in very handy. So there you go. That's what I'm doing today. I'm giving you my opinion on some things. All right, so let's get started. September. Now, I'm going to start with a disclaimer. I'm not saying a date. I do not know for certain anything is going to happen in September. I'm talking to you like we're at a coffee shop on a Saturday morning having some eggs and hash browns, okay? Don't do bacon, but eggs and hash browns, what I had. I'm talking to you like a friend. I'm not trying to make any predictions here. I'm guessing September, and I put down here 3 reasons, but there's actually probably more like 5. Oh, I can only give you 3. One is Benjamin Fulford, which I'll show you in just a second, says September for the massive arrests. Then we've got 90 nations that are going to push the New York Declaration in September. Then we've got the elections coming up, as you can see here, November 3rd of 26. And I'm thinking that the wise people, of which Trump is part of them, they want to get all the arrests and all that stuff in the rearview mirror before the elections comes up. I also think something's got to be going on. For God to give me that dream the day before Christmas in 2024 about I was at the back of the church talking to the pastor, inviting him to be a part of the other churches that are forming a big crusade in a sports stadium. And I said, there's 2 things I ask, and that is you get your people helping us to fill the room, and also that you donate at least $1,000 from your church toward advertising to make it all happen. He said, that sounds fine to me. Why God give me that dream? Because I think judgment is close. So again, I'm telling you what I think today. All right, so let's go on to the next thing here. What is the New York Declaration? This is what I'm talking about. They're planning on declaring an 80 nations, it is, I think it is, no, 90 nations, giving the Palestinian state, at least declaring one in September. This is the article where Benjamin Fulford says he thinks the arrests are going to start in September. But there's more. Now, let me talk about the massive arrests. I think the massive arrest will be the match that lights the fires of the internal revolution, which provides the distraction for Russia and their friends to prepare to destroy America. In other words, what Trump and the military intelligence, the good guys in America, are trying to do is to try to clean up our nation. But it doesn't work. I don't think it'll work. I think that what happens is that it causes such anger because there's a lot of people. Let's take Obama. I do not know that Obama's done anything wrong or that he's going to be arrested. Or Nancy Pelosi or Adam Schiff. But those are elected officials. And while some of us might not like them, a lot of people do. And if those type people, which I suspect those type people are the ones that are going to be arrested, if those do get arrested, you can imagine there's a lot of people that are going to blow their top. I think they will pick up guns. I think that they will start coming after Christians. They will start coming after Republicans. And I think it's going to cause a bloody battle like America's never seen. The Civil War is going to be nothing compared to what we're about to see. An internal revolution, as Dmitri was told. When the massive arrests begin, if America were to turn to Jesus, our republic could be saved. Because, as you remember, 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, if my people are called by my name will turn from will turn from the wicked ways and then I will hear from heaven, forgive their sins and heal their land. But it says, turn from the wicked ways. I haven't seen any churches fill up. And while I do think that the judgment, as God told me, is going to bring great miracles, we do know that there's going to be a time where a lot of people are saved, but apparently it's not enough. God basically sweeps in the last remaining souls whose names are in the book of life that have been resisting him, and then boom, he takes America out. In other words, not enough of America repents and cleans up to save the whole nation. On to the next thing. Now, concerning the massive arrest, who do I think? I think it's going to be government people, banking people, business, and A lot of the media. I think you turn over to, and I don't know that CNN or ABC or CBS or NBC have done anything wrong. I don't know. Who am I? But if they have, see, I have to be careful with my words. If they have, the people that sat there and looked into the camera and lied to us for year in, year out may be on the roundup list, but not just them. Maybe the people that they report to, and maybe the people that own the stations. I don't know. But try to imagine all of a sudden some big network like that has military people walk in and clean house, and just about everybody there is arrested. How would America take that? Oh, let's again. I'm not saying anything bad about CNN, but let's say we see somebody's watching CNN, and all of a sudden, military. In full military dress with arms, AR-15s, whatever they're carrying. I'm not a military guy. Walk in, and the cameras see them arrest people right there and right then, and clean house, and there's not enough left there to even keep them on the air, or maybe even they take them off the air. I mean, how would America react to that? That's my question. Remember, I've said it's what is the name? Bad-boys.us. I've given that to you several times. If you go there, it shows there's some 500,000 sealed indictments. That means there's at least 500,000 people that they are going to be looking for. Maybe more. But try to imagine if 500,000 people all get arrested in, say, a 30-day period. And many of them very beloved people. Many of them people voted for it because, see, just like you and I, when we do something wrong, it's like a dog, okay? Leslie's little dog, she's got a little bitty dog, 8 pounds. And we've got a little pad where she's supposed to pee and poo. Well, she peed beside the pad, and I finally got tired of it. I said, Lily, if I say it, she'll hear me. Lily, come here. And she heard me, and she came around the corner. I pointed that, and I said, I want you to stop doing it off the pad. And I told Leslie, I said, I talked to her just like I talked to my Belgian Malinois, Misty. And I promise, it seems like these dogs sometimes can understand English. And she knew she was in trouble, had her head down. Well, same thing. We do things wrong in the dark, in a hidden way. So try to imagine people that are greatly beloved getting arrested. And I don't mean hundreds or even thousands, but many thousands of them all getting arrested. They fill up Alcatraz. They fill up the alligator Alcatraz. They fill up Gitmo and Diego Garcia, and they're sending them to El Salvador. So how would America react? That's my point. How would America react? I think that as soon as the arrests start, there's going to be like cockroaches when you turn the light on. I mean, they're going to be running all directions. And people are going to be trying to get south to Mexico, going to be trying to fly out, and Trump has already got prepared. They're going to catch them all. They have set the trap. There'll be a few gets away, but not many. The jails will be full, flown overseas, military facilities, Alcatraz, and you remember Henry Groover was shown in a vision that Trump is king. Now, I don't necessarily know that he'll get the title of king, but when he suspends the Constitution, as can be legally done, for up to 5 years, that would give him total control. The military is backing him. All of a sudden, the bad people are arrested, and everybody in America their knees are either knocking and they're scared out of their mind, or they're furious and they're picking up guns, and we're in an internal revolution. My point is, my guess is that most people haven't thought this through. Most people don't really believe me when I tell you that I met Dmitry Duduman and really believe him to understand an internal revolution is coming, and that the Russians are going to bomb us off the map. And so they can't get their head around it. So they haven't really thought it through, just how bad it could be. Media. So those not arrested, and there won't be all of them arrested, they're going to scream bloody murder. They're going to complain like you can't even believe it. And I think a lot of them will call for an internal revolution. I think a lot of them will openly say, I mean, even right now, they're saying, we got to fight, fight, fight. Okay, well, what happens when a lot of their buddies get arrested? I think they're going to say, we got to pick up arms against these people. We need some blood, or they'll be calling for blood. And this is part of we want our entitlement, so that it tells us that there's a big financial problem. The dollar falls. And so America's romance with the dollar is over. The world is going to be shocked to see all the violence. I think martial law will be declared. Now, what's martial law? Martial law is kind of like a curfew. Curfew says you can't be out after dark, okay? But that's minor. Martial law might be you can't get out of your house. You can't go to work. You can't go to the grocery store. Anybody caught on the streets is subject to arrest, or who knows, maybe even subject to getting shot. I mean, not being able to try to, I mean, I know. You can't imagine this taking place in America. But then you can't imagine a former president trying to oust the current president, like Obama did with Trump, okay? We've seen all kinds of things in the last 6 months we never thought we would see. So am I wrong in saying this is likely? I don't think I am. Again, I'm sharing my heart today. I think we're going to expect to see shots fired by civilians at military, shots returned from military to civilians. In other words, bullets going both ways. That's an internal revolution. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. You better know, with as many guns as there are in America, somebody going to pick up that shooting arm. And when they do, the military, I mean, Trump has already said, if you throw a rock at one of these ICE officers, the ICE officer now can stop the car and go out and arrest you. Okay, so they're done being slapped around. I think we're looking at electrical, water supplies being attacked, dams blown up, IEDs placed like in Iraq. Yeah. I'm not trying to scare you. What I'm trying to say is, I think we're about to see things in America get so bad, like we've already been saying, I never thought I'd see this. I can't believe this is happening in America, but that ain't nothing compared to what's coming. Now, next topic. Let's talk about our enemies. Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America. Probably Central America means ones like Panama, Honduras, El Salvador, places like that. Mexico, North Korea, Venezuela, a lot of them. So when Trump gets busy with all the internal problems and the military is rounding people up, Trump is busy with the internal problems, the military is not watching Russia, and they're prepositioning men and supplies for the invasion. In the meantime, several things happening at once. The dollar starts falling, down a third to zero. Food lines, fighting, Americans fighting and killing each other over food, bloodletting over food. Coins and paper get confiscated, just like that we have heard, not been able to get it confirmed, that's happening in China. I can imagine that. Okay, if they're going to come out with a new digital currency, they want to remove the old coins and paper. Okay, so it's not hard to see that. On to the next one. August the 8th of 2015, I heard, this is the time of miracles. As the judgment hits, so will my miracles. Miracles like no one has seen, going back to Adam and Eve. You tell them, I'll never leave them nor forsake them. I'm going to meet the devil inch for inch, step for step, pound for pound, everything he does, I'm going to meet him. Okay, so what could be the judgment? Well, UN, Britain, France, Germany, Europe are now ready to recognize the Palestinian state. Also, Hamas is saying we're not going to release the hostages until a state is given. That could bring in, Omar ushers in a Palestinian state, or the giving of the Palestinian state. That could bring in a New Madrid earthquake. And guess what? We're talking about that happening in September. What? Could it happen that soon? I can't guarantee it's not. What I'm trying to say is, oh, happy days might be a thing of the past here pretty soon. Then let's talk about the suitcase nukes. Okay, we got 35 prophecies that say there's suitcase nukes in America. Remember this? And we got, 38 prophecies, got to update it. 38 prophecies say suitcase nukes here in America. And remember, we got 17 prophecies that say a meteor will cause a tsunami and an earthquake. We're talking about devastation like we've never seen. I don't want to think it's now. I want to think we have more time. Then we're talking about 17 food shortages. 13 say the dollar is going to fall, and 8 say there's going to be massive arrests, and that's not including me saying I heard massive arrests, massive arrests. Now, I want to play a short video clip of them talking about the BRICS is already in order.
BRICS is actually changing the money game right now. Their new development bank has pumped out over $30 billion in projects, and get this, all in local currencies, not dollars. Russia does 90% of its trade with China in rubles and yuan, which shows what the end of dollar dominance really looks like. Trade inside BRICS hit $500 billion last year, and they are adding Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, which only makes the bloc stronger. China is stacking way more gold than they admit and pushing the digital yuan hard. Their payment system, CIPS, is exploding and could bypass the dollar completely. Central banks are buying gold like crazy and dumping dollars. USD reserves dropped from 71% to 59%. This is not just talk anymore. The dollar world we knew is slipping, and BRICS is building something totally different.
Now, here's how that fits in. This is August 4th. China and India refused to cease buying Russian oil. As you recall, Trump said if the Russia-Ukraine war is not over, first in 50 days, he dropped it to 10 to 12, then he's going to increase tariffs 100% on anybody that's buying Russian oil. Well, now China and India have popped up and said, we're not going to cease buying Russian oil. And the West, they're making Ukraine's war possible through the weapons. So basically, America and Russia are already in a de facto war. None of this would have been necessary had the West and NATO honored their promise to Mikhail Gorbachev. If the Soviet Union agrees to allow the East and West Germany to reunify, then NATO will not move 1 inch eastward. And that was the document that's actually signed. And there's the document. And here is their response. This is Trump. India is not only buying massive amounts of Russian oil, they are then, for much of the oil purchase, selling it on the open market for big profits. They don't care how many people in Ukraine are being killed by the Russian war machine. Because of this, I will substantially raise the tariff paid by India to the USA. So India is now on the side of the Russians, and I'm seeing this war heat up between America and Russia, and then Trump just spit in the face of the Russian bear. And unfortunately, I'm out of time. Perhaps I can cover this tomorrow. I'm inviting you. I want you to come. I don't know another way to say it, but I want to meet you. I want to shake your hand. I want to hug your neck. I want to get to know some of these people that listen to Prophecy Club. So I'm asking you. I'm not just inviting you. I'm asking you to come. Yes, I know it may mean an air flight, a hotel, a couple of hotels. It may mean $200, $500, $1,000, depends on where you stay. But I want you to come to this. I'm asking you. I'm not just inviting you. I'm asking you to come. Come, introduce yourself to me. Many of you, I will recognize your name. Many of you have been following us for a long time. I'd like to meet you. Okay? So come to the Prophecy, Healing, and Deliverance Conference, September 11 to 14. Now, it's 6 seasoned ministers. We're going to be delivering 10 different talks over 2.5 days. Now, you can see the topics below, but today I'm going to just briefly touch on a couple of them. One is I've changed some of the things I'm talking on. Yes, I can talk on the mark of the beast. Yes, I'm going to bring you some new insight. But I'm also, here's what happened this past Sunday. I brought a talk that I thought would be over most people's head. I was talking about secrets in ancient Hebrew, and I was shocked. Our congregation absolutely loved it. I had, I don't know, 5 or 6 people come up to me and say how great it was. I've had at least 2 or 3 people ask me for copies of the PowerPoint, so I'm going to expand on that. There are some big, big secrets within ancient letter level Hebrew, and you probably have never heard this before. I'm also going to be talking about my new book that hopefully will be coming out by the time we have this meeting. I'll hopefully have it there. And it's called The Pentecost Rapture of the Bride. I think God showed me a revelation. I mean, I've been I was pre-trib till 1999. Then I went total hard post-trib until he gave me a revelation. And it totally changed my perspective on the rapture. And I'm going to explain that at this meeting. Now, that's what I'm going to talk on. Let me briefly explain what Leslie's going to talk on. You can pause and read all of the topics, but basically, God told her she was an apostle recently, and the congregation all agreed. We bumped her up to apostle. And she's going to explain the role of a prophet, all of the things below, and I'm going to talk about it more in other programs that we'll have her on. But again, I'm asking you to come. I'm asking you to go to prophecyclub.com, right there, prophecyclub.com. Sign up to come. Sign up. I'd like to meet you, hug your neck, shake your hand, sign one of the books. If you have one of my books, or Leslie, sign one of her books. We're going to have them there. It's going to be, a time where you learn some things, but how about just a time of fellowship? How about a time where you get to meet me and Leslie, and we'll meet you, and we'll spend some good time together. We'll eat together. We'll have some fellowship together. So come to the Prophecy Healing Deliverance Conference. If you don't want to lose your life's savings, if you have an IRA or a 401k, the thing to do is call 800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. These folks are Christians, and they specialize in helping people not lose their life savings in the event of a stock market crash and things like that. Look, most of the 401ks, most of the IRAs are in paper, backed by paper, and as Lindsey Williams says, if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. You can lose it all. 1-800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. Hey, give them a call. Doesn't hurt, doesn't cost you anything. See if they can give you some good advice.